I straightened my tie, running through my presentation one last time. Tonight's dinner at my sister Rebecca's mansion wasn't just a family obligation, it was my final attempt to be taken seriously. For years, I'd worked in silence, placing careful, disciplined investments through my firm, Griffin Capital. This was the night I would unveil my largest project yet. All I needed was Monarch Bank's support. And unfortunately, Monarch Bank answered to Marcus Williams, my brother-in-law. The irony was almost poetic. 10 years earlier, Marcus had rejected my very first loan application, dismissing my plans as immature fantasies. Since then, he'd made a sport of reminding everyone how he'd rescued Rebecca by marrying her into the Williams banking dynasty. Rebecca greeted me with an air kiss, her diamond bracelets clinking softly. The sister who once defended me on school playgrounds had been replaced by someone who measured worth in designer labels and social rank. "You look professional," she said, her eyes flicking over my off-the-rack suit. "Marcus just got back from Milan. You'll love his new Italian tailoring." The dining room looked like wealth trying too hard, crystal chandeliers, borrowed antiques, and paintings that screamed expensive replicas. Marcus sat at the head of the table, presiding like royalty. "Well, if it isn't James, the small business visionary," he announced, drawing laughter from the assembled bankers and their spouses. "Still running that little firm of yours? What was it called?" "Pigeon Capital?" "Griffin Capital," I corrected calmly, opening my laptop. "And actually, that's why I'm here. I have a proposal." Marcus groaned theatrically. "Oh no, not another one." He turned to Rebecca. "Remember the last idea? Affordable housing, wasn't it? As if that's where real money is made." Rebecca shifted uncomfortably. "James, maybe tonight isn't. It's a $2 billion development," I continued evenly. "Mixed use, sustainable housing, commercial spaces, community infrastructure. We're seeking financing through Monarch Bank." Marcus nearly spit out his wine. $2 billion? He laughed loudly, joined by several others. "You can't even afford a tailored suit, and you want to play with billions?" "The numbers are solid," I said, pulling up the projections. "If you just look." Marcus slammed his palm on the table. "You'll never succeed because you don't understand power. Business isn't about ideals or communities, it's about control, and you have none." He rose, smoothing his Italian suit. "Tomorrow, I'll be presenting Monarch's next major acquisition to the board. Real business, big business. Stick to your small dreams, James. That's your ceiling." Laughter filled the room. My phone vibrated. "Lawyer, documents confirmed. Transfer complete. Griffin Capital now holds 51% of Monarch Bank. Board meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. Ready to meet your new employees?" I looked up at Marcus, still enjoying his applause, and smiled quietly. Tomorrow would be educational. I arrived at Monarch Bank's headquarters at 8:45 a.m. Wearing the same suit from the night before. The security guard hesitated before straightening. "Good morning, Mr. Griffin." Sarah Chen, my attorney, waited by the elevators. "Everything's in place. The board arrived early. Marcus is eager to impress them." She paused, smiling. "They don't know the agenda has changed." The past decade had been a chess match. While Marcus mocked my small investments, I'd built an empire through shell companies, silent partnerships, and strategic rescues. The struggling businesses I helped rebuild became fiercely loyal. Together, they formed something Marcus never saw coming. "Any suspicion?" I asked. "None." Each acquisition looked unrelated. "Marcus is convinced today is about Monarch acquiring Rivera Banking Group." I smiled. Rivera Banking Group was already mine. The boardroom was all marble and glass. Marcus stood at the head of the table, confidence radiating. "What are you doing here?" he snapped. "This is a closed board meeting." Sarah placed a folder in front of him. "Mr. Griffin is exactly where he belongs." Marcus flipped through the pages, color drained from his face. "As of 8 a.m., I said calmly, taking a seat, "Griffin Capital holds a controlling 51% stake in Monarch Bank." Chaos erupted. Board members whispered, scanned documents, recalculated loyalties. Marcus looked like the ground had vanished beneath him. "This is impossible," he muttered. "The Williams family has controlled this bank for generations. Until you ignored the people who actually built it, I replied, displaying a web of interconnected companies on the screen. You were too busy dismissing small businesses to notice them aligning under me. The room went silent. Those small dreams you laughed at? I finished. They added up. I've been building a sustainable network of loyal customers and solid investments. You can't do this, Marcus whispered, his voice cracking. He turned toward her, hands shaking. Rebecca, your brother? Yes, I said evenly. He is. And maybe now you'll remember what that used to mean. I rose, smoothing my off-the-rack suit. Oh, and that Rivera Banking Group takeover you were so excited about? It won't be necessary. They already report to me. The boardroom doors flew open. Rebecca rushed in, mascara streaking her cheeks. Marcus, what's happening? Our accounts, everything's frozen. About that, I said, turning to her. We need to talk about some irregularities in Marcus's personal trading accounts. Serious ones. Marcus sank into his chair. The confidence, the tailoring, the dynasty, gone. His Italian suit looked like what it had always been, a costume. All those years, he breathed. You were playing us. No, I replied calmly. I was doing business, real business, something you never bothered to understand. The weeks that followed moved fast, audits, emergency board meetings, late-night calls. What began as a takeover unraveled into a full-scale scandal. Our forensic accountants uncovered years of misconduct, unauthorized trades, inflated asset reports, personal indulgences buried as operating expenses. The Williams legacy hadn't been inherited, it had been propped up by deception. I was reviewing the latest reports in my new office, Marcus's old one, when Rebecca burst in. How could you do this to us? She demanded, slamming her hands on my desk. Do you have any idea what people are saying? No one will even return my calls. Your friends, I said quietly, or Marcus's friends, there's a difference. He gave me everything, she shot back. A perfect life, status, respect. Respect? I stood and walked to the windows. Come here. I pulled up security footage from a recent board meeting. Watch. Rebecca's face drained as the video played, Marcus humiliating a junior analyst, mocking an elderly board member, dismissing warnings about predatory lending. This, I said softly, was your perfect life, and you stood silent, just like you did when he humiliated me at that dinner. I didn't know what else to do, she whispered, after he paid for Mom's medical bills. I paid for those, I interrupted gently, through one of my holding companies. Marcus took the credit. Check the records. Rebecca collapsed into a chair, her handbag sliding to the floor. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? I asked. The brother with small dreams? The intercom buzzed. Mr. Griffin, the FBI agents are here regarding Mr. Williams's trading violations. Rebecca's head snapped up. FBI? James, please. He's still my husband. And you're still my sister, I said, sitting beside her. That's why I negotiated immunity in exchange for cooperation. He'll pay fines, lose everything, but he won't go to prison. Why? She sobbed. After everything? I handed her the framed photo from my desk, 2 kids, her standing defiantly in front of bullies twice her size. Because someone once taught me that real strength isn't about power, I said, it's about restraint. My phone buzzed. Marcus had agreed to resign. His final act would be signing over his remaining shares. The Williams dynasty was finished. But maybe something better could take its place. 1 year later, the building read Griffin Partners Financial Group. The marble and mahogany remained, but the culture had changed. Junior employees spoke freely. Community leaders sat at the boardroom table. Ethical lending wasn't a slogan, it was policy. I was reviewing a microloan proposal when my assistant hesitated at the door. Marcus is here. He looked smaller now. Department store suit. No arrogance, just fatigue. I came to sign the last papers, he said quietly. The divorce settlement. Rebecca had told me. Chicago. A tiny consulting firm. Very small, he added with a sad smile. Funny, isn't it? The dreams I mocked. They were never small, I said. He slid the folder across my desk, his final shares. The worst part, he admitted, is knowing I could have helped build something meaningful. Your vision, Ethical banking. I chose power instead. Yes, I said. You did. Rebecca's happier, he continued. She found her voice again. Started that children's charity I used to call pointless. He swallowed. I deserved to lose her. He stood. I'm sorry, James, for all of it. You were the better man. After he left, I walked the floors. The analyst Marcus, once humiliated, now led community outreach. The board member he ignored shaped our core principles. Rebecca's charity filled the 10th floor. Sometimes we eat lunch together, laughing like we used to, slowly repairing what pride had broken. That evening, a loan application crossed my desk. Small bakery, my assistant said. Owner says she met you 10 years ago. I smiled. I remembered her, free coffee when I had nothing but an idea. I signed the approval. Approved, with compliments from a small dream believer. Because the best revenge isn't destruction. It's creation. Marcus was right about one thing: business is about power. He just never understood where the real power lives.